Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you on a Sunday evening post Team USA versus Serbia. And as always, I'm joined by Andrew Combo Salip to discuss the latest and the greatest. We'll get to your questions if we have them. Don't forget the best way to do that would be the super chat on YouTube. It really helps us keep the show going, and we would give you all sorts of hype and love, and thanks for doing that. But Combo, what's happening, my man?
We already warmed up, man. Recorded for my show. Now we're here on the B-Ball Breakdown live show. I love working late on Sundays. You know, it's a little bit earlier for you, but I love working late. I always love working, Coach Nick. We're here.
All right, you're the hardest working man in basketball for sure.
Thank you.
And yeah, so it's great to be here. When the game was earlier today, in case we didn't know. I don't even know if I told people the right time because I feel like I looked it up.
You told me, honestly, Coach Nick, you told me the wrong time. I was waiting for the game for 11:15 tonight.
11:15 tonight? No, I would have said 11:15 a.m. Yes, on Friday, right?
No, I think you told me it was like either 8:15 or 11:15. We definitely thought we were going to do a live show around this time after the game, right? That was like the plan.
You know what? I don't know. I think whatever I saw on the screen, I think, you know what? Maybe I'm remembering if I said 8:15 a.m. would be my time, but I wasn't sure if it was my time. I thought I said a.m. and then it would be 11:15.
Oh, I was the confused one because I thought it was in the evening that's what I gathered from our conversation. I probably interpreted it wrong.
Well, you found it. You got to see the game anyway. Thank you.
I did, which was good. I was happy. I was happy that it was early. It was nice.
Yeah, and the page I found apparently translates the time to my time zone, so now I'll know, for sure. But anyway, what's up, everybody? What's up, Bangs? Braun, good to see you out there. It's Abraham and Michael. We got a nice crowd going on here. So what's going on, everybody? The game. Someone's asking who won. I suppose maybe the results haven't gotten to everybody, but we might as well ruin it for them. I guess if you don't want to know the results, then cover your ears or don't watch the show. But we're going to get into that. Team USA won the game. They won the game, and it was easy, and it was a blowout. But although they did, the margin was close in a couple different points of the game, even in the third quarter. What were your takeaways so far, Combo?
KD is a cheat code, as we discussed on our earlier show. I mean, it doesn't matter what Serbia does with KD playing like that. And I thought Steve Kerr could probably make some lineup changes. I thought he could learn some stuff from this game. And I think LeBron was playing like the best player in the world while KD was a cheat code. There wasn't much Serbia could do, but Serbia actually came out to a really early start. Then KD subs in, and then it was over.
Right. Like LeBron had 21 points. I mean, his field goal percentage was 69.2%, but KD was 88.9% on 8 for 9, where LeBron went 9 for 13. Listen, LeBron right now physically for Serbia, nobody could guard him. He simply would go to the basket. You'd need 3 guys, and then one of them would have to be jumping on his back and trying to put him in a sleeper hold to stop him. He was that, And by the way, what do you think about the new LeBron celebration thing?
But is that new? I felt like it's not this anymore, right, with the knee, but I feel like even this is not that new. I feel like he's been doing that, but now he just exaggerates it a little more because he knows it's becoming a thing.
I guess. Well, some people in the comments tell me they think it's a newer thing. The whole backwards to forward shrug shoulder thing.
Yeah, it's like these guys are like flies, like they're like insects. Like I could hardly even feel them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right. Okay. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the offense necessarily, right? I think they're going to be able to score pretty easily against anybody that they play against. It's the question is what's going to happen on the other end. And so, the X's and O's are what they are. They don't have a lot of time to be adding a lot of stuff in there. But again, they don't really need to do much. It is a pleasure to watch them the out of bounds plays. I think Steve Kerr at least gets that out of them because Curry had a beautiful one where they inbounded it with I think maybe Booker, and then Curry screens for Booker and then pops out himself to the wing. So confused, the guy tried to shoot the gap on the pin down and Curry wide open. Beautiful. They had another one where both guys go to Curry and leaving somebody open for a slip to the basket. So they're getting some of that stuff too. And then even a guy like Devin Booker, who I was really critical of and was unhappy with the shot selection in the exhibition games. He went, I think, 5 for 6. Let me just check that and make sure. Devin Booker went 4 for 6, but I would say he had 3 threes. Let me see here. he went 4 for 5 from 3, and I think 3 of those threes were all off of offensive rebounds and in a scramble, kick, catch and shoot, wide open, beautiful. And if he does that, then I have a lot less issue with the way he's been playing, because he's just playing like the Kyle Korver role, right? Catch and shoot, move out the ball, cause and give them a lot of spacing and the gravity. That was all great. The only time that I didn't like it, he maybe can't help himself, is an 8 dribble ISO on the right block, turnaround fadeaway, heavily contested, miss in the third quarter. And it's those moments where he decides, I'm simply going to shoot it because I have not shot it for a while. And I don't know, that just rubs me wrong when you see players do that.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying. I also think we're in agreement that Anthony Edwards should probably be starting. I would tweak some of these lineups. I'd probably give AD some more minutes and Anthony Edwards some more minutes going forward, just because of fit. And I just think Anthony Edwards is not only more talented, but a better two-way player than Devin Booker. And even like just the energy he brings and the way he plays off of KD and LeBron, how happy he gets for those guys. I just love his fit on this team, and I hope he starts moving forward.
I agree. I mean, it's like, if Kerr wants to delay the run, then okay, what's the difference, right? If you go on that run. But some of these teams are better than Serbia, without question. That's going to be an issue where, do you want to put yourself in a hole to begin the game? It's not easy to figure out exactly what this game means, because, again, Serbia's defense was not great. Like, they're not great defenders. So it was not easy to get a handle on it. They were chasing guys in weird ways. They were switching, not being on the same page defensively. It was kind of an SHIT show for them, and they won't win a medal if they can't clean that up, even if they have Jokic. Interestingly enough, and I said this, watching in real time, it made me wonder why they didn't feed Jokic on the high post as much as I would assume they would. I went through the game again, and I did see maybe a little bit more. I'm like, oh, there it is, and they're getting him there. But they need to do it almost every time. But the other problem is they get the ball on the elbow, and you have a guy like, how Jamal Murray comes underneath the free throw line and curls around for the handoff. Whatever guard was doing that for them isn't Jamal Murray. So they weren't getting the same kind of gravity, the same kind of pressure on the defense because of that. So it wasn't working as well. And that probably is why they didn't run what we were so used to seeing Jokic be so good at. I thought Jokic was handling Embiid down low, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, the spin offs on Embiid, like Embiid has trouble when he's guarding Jokic. And it doesn't matter how many times he gets to guard him. It doesn't feel like it gets any better for him, right? Like Jokic just reads it and he makes the right play. I want to ask you, what teams do you feel outside of Team USA are way more talented than Serbia? Because they have Bogdanovic, they have Micic, who's a former EuroLeague MVP. They obviously have Jokic. They have guys like Jovic coming off the bench who are NBA players that probably don't even play a lot of times. What teams are more talented than the Serbia team? If this Serbia team was in EuroLeague, they'd probably win EuroLeague, right? This is a really good and talented team.
I mean, I guess it is. I mean, you're right. I'm basing on what I saw the first time they played in the exhibition and today. In comparison, they just can't.
Canada's probably definitely more talented, but how many other teams,
Bogdanovic did not look good today. I thought he didn't look very good at all. And so there's an athletic limitation to the players.
That's true.
Which is a limitation for every other team too. But Canada can match them, NBA player for NBA player.
And Canada is more athletic than Serbia, but probably doesn't play. Their offense probably isn't as good as Serbia's when Serbia is clicking on all fronts, in my opinion.
Maybe, but the team that does click on all fronts would be Australia. And I went through their game against Spain. Spain is a weird. Listen, Sergio Llull is one of my favorite players of all time, but he might be 40. I don't know what he's doing out there. Rudy Fernandez is 50. I don't know what he's doing out there.
Rudy Fernandez was really good when he was in his prime, right? He was athletic too.
He rubbed me the wrong way too. I never really loved his game.
You felt like he didn't live up to the talent, right?
You know what? Kind of like the Booker thing, where I just kind of felt like he'd make up his mind that he's going to shoot it before he even caught it, and sort of not play in the moment that way. And I don't think he was quite good enough to be that guy. But I thought he was. But he was good. I mean, listen, he was good back in the day. But I always felt like there was a little bit of a gunner to him that rubbed me the wrong way, which I didn't like. But that said, when Spain played Team USA in 2004 or whatever, or whatever that game was, where they were handing it to him for a while and almost beat him. Fernandez was a really big part of that. But Australia, if we're talking about team offense, they're running like Princeton stuff at such a high speed that I'm really anxious to see how the Americans are going to deal with that. And if they're allowed to be extra physical and try and gum up the cuts and try and hold them from doing that, and the referees won't call it, then forget about it. But man, when they get going and move it, and you got Josh Giddey in his best version, he was like, the Magic Johnson role. It looked terrific against Spain. I don't know if you saw that. He was throwing dimes.
He is, and he'll get that kind of opportunity with the Bulls, which this trade might really go well for both sides.
I don't know. You think he will with Kobe White and Io and all those guys? Like, I don't know if he's going to get that role.
Oh yeah, it'll be him and Kobe White. I think Io could play off the ball a little bit. Energy guy could, he could do some different things without the ball. I mean, Kobe White's definitely going to get his reps for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we have our first super chat of the day. Thanks so much, Alan Tran, friend of the breakdown. Great to see you. Thank you, Alan. With the rest of the world getting better at b-ball, I fear that once Bron, KD, and Steph retire, Team USA is in trouble. Can Ant, Book, and Tatum carry? Well, we should talk about Tatum for a second because he didn't play 1 minute today. But I think Steve Kerr had a sense of that because of KD coming back. There's this, you can't play. He thinks you can't play more than 10 players. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree with that. I think you have to make some tough decisions. And I think Tatum, he kind of was the guy who was the fall guy for that, right? Like, I don't think it's really Tatum's fault. It's like, you got to not let somebody play so everybody else could get into rhythm, right? Like, you got to make a decision. You can't just play everybody because it's going to be worse for everybody.
Well, yeah, Tyrese Halliburton also didn't get any minutes, but
yeah,
my take on it was a 20-point game pretty much to start the fourth quarter. You could have given him 5 minutes there just to keep him fresh and keep him in rhythm, because now he's going to come back having not played, probably warmed up and the whole thing. And in my mind, they could have found minutes, but then if Tatum's going to be like, no, I don't want the disrespect of like getting put in for a blowout at the end of the game, I don't want to be part of that. Well, I have a problem with that if that's the issue, because you should value minutes no matter what they are, no matter when they come, no matter what the score is.
Do you think that was somewhat a sign of respect? Like, let's just not play him at all instead of giving him garbage minutes. The guy who just won the finals in the MVP, the best player on the finals team.
I mean, probably that's what it was. Like, we're not going to put you in because we're up at 20. But like, to me, it'd be like, let's put you in. Let's get some reps. Let's get you to sweat. Let's get you going and keep you fresh. I don't know. All that stuff would be important for me. But hey, I want to just be part of it. I don't want to have a DMP.
Great question by Alan. But do we put Cooper Flagg in the mix with those three guys, because he was the best player in that? He was looking like the best player at the end of that scrimmage, right?
Oh, yeah. And I heard from the coaching staff, they were like, this guy is legit. Like, he was handing it to him. And not even just handing it to him buckets wise, like passing. So Cooper Flagg is really, really good.
That changes everything for the bottom tier of the NBA this season, because everybody's going to take a little bit harder now, right?
I guess so. I mean, I don't blame him. You're going to want to get this guy if you can.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be legit. Now the only question for me is, can he smooth out his jump shot a little bit? And
I mean, his jump shot was an improvement area, but then we see him hit that hezzy three right in front of AD's face. So I mean, he's showing that he's improving in that area, and he has such great feel around the rim with the rebounding and the finishing, and he's so versatile.
For sure. Now, speaking of shooting, Giddey was getting some open shots against the zone against Spain, and he was two motioning it, catapulting him in. He hit a 2 or 3, I saw. So that's interesting. Again, if you give him time like that, any pro can knock down a 3 when you can set it and push it up like that. But again, that the Australians are interesting. They've got a lot of athletes there that can compete. And so that's another team. I'm trying to think of anybody else that caught my eye yet. Obviously Spain or France could do something.
South Sudan gave Team USA a run for their money in the friendly.
I'm anxious to find out if it was a fluke or not. I want to see how South Sudan does in the real games.
Yeah, they got some guys.
Yeah, let's get our next. Oh, we have a couple more super chats. Here we go. So Martin Jose, thank you so much, Martin. It's great to see you. Welcome for the show. Do you think that women's USA b-ball team missed an opportunity of not selecting Caitlin Clark? I think it was good business-wise. I think it would be good business-wise, and she'll definitely fit in her role. I think it was a terrible mistake. I think she should have absolutely been on the team.
I agree. I mean, I think like people say, oh, like you should have the 12 best players on the team. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think other things should go into it, right? Like the attention she brings should go into it. She's a rising star that'll be able to play for Team USA for years and years and years down the road. I think her and Angel Reese should be on the team, to be honest, because they're two budding stars and they're going to be around for a long time, and it'll help them develop.
And you don't get too many opportunities when you're establishing, this newfound interest in the game, right? They're selling out arenas for the first time. They did a new deal where there's so much more money as part of the TV package now. It's like double the money. I just pray that the collective bargaining agreement with the women's side was well designed for the players, because their salaries are so low. I don't know if they're getting a big enough piece of that pie, and it's going to be a bigger pie going forward. So you want to use these players as much as you can to keep generating that interest. And by the way, I don't know. I mean, I've been watching a little bit more WNBA this year. I don't think I'm convinced that Caitlin Clark isn't the 12th best player in the WNBA.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
There are very few, if any, players that I'm seeing that can pull from that distance. And her passing has been terrific, and they've gotten better at catching the damn passes and not turning them over. So, it's the dynamicism. She's so dynamic how she plays that, it's like I don't know. It has to be an argument at the very least. Is she 13th, 14th, something like that? But I think that was a mistake. They should have put her on. And I suppose she'll be able to be on going forward. But you never know. Like, injuries could happen. Other weird stuff happens in the future. Maybe you don't get that opportunity. This is a good one to do, and they missed it. So hopefully they get that in order, and it continues to build for the women's game, because it's exciting when you watch it now.
I got a great tweet while you talk. I'm going to say, fill in the blank. Caitlin Clark is a top blank WNBA player. I want to see what people say. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Send it out there. Let's see here. Brian Pumper. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. It's very generous of you and keeps the show going. He asks, it's starting to look more and more like Embiid was promised a starting spot in order to lure from France. No other explanation. He is starting still. So there no question. It's a political thing as well, right? Like, would he sulk? Would he not handle it well if he didn't start? He certainly doesn't look good, right? I mean, they try to feed him on a bounce pass, and hands almost out of bounds or whatever. He's not getting opportunities as much. The ones he does get, Curry drives and quick little dish and he hits a little 8-footer, that kind of stuff. So, I'm sure there's a game that he'll play where he'll be so overwhelming they have no one to guard him that he'll be able to get his buckets. But yeah, he doesn't look great out there. Anthony Davis is kind of a non-factor as well. It's really fascinating. And again, like I mentioned, the way the offense is running, it's kind of like you're getting a lot of sort of space, drives, kicks, dump offs, but not a ton of opportunities for like any of the ISOs that Embiid's going to want to get on the elbow. Not a ton of low post ISOs in the left block for AD.
But AD had a really nice friendly game run, right? Like, with all those friendly games, he was playing really well. I think he's a better fit for this team than Embiid. I think he should start.
Okay. I don't think his stats were that great. Now,
but just the effect on both sides of the floor, especially defensively. I thought he was a great fit during the friendlies.
AD is a little bit curious to me, because it happens in the NBA as well, where they can bring him out and then they curl around and then they get to the basket because he's trying to have to be, play all over the floor. And so when he's out there, it kind of like gets them to run the good stuff because they're so focused on doing that, where maybe when he's not out there. So that might be a burden he's got to deal with. But I don't know. I don't know if I feel like AD has been as impactful defensively. That, I'm trying to run through my mind of this round, the last 5-6 games of the friendlies, and now, you know what I mean? Do you feel like he's really had a really big effect defensively?
I do, yeah.
All right.
His versatility, the way he slides his feet, the way he protects the rim, and not only that, after a good defensive possession, I feel like he's doing a great job of getting the rebound and securing the ball.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he got in foul trouble a little bit, and that got him off a little bit too. But all right, I'm going to watch a little bit more closely live.
You're skeptical about Reed Shepherd and Anthony Davis.
Yes,
that's who you're skeptical about.
That's how I roll. I'm going to be in Hawaii starting tomorrow for a week. I'm going to have to watch these games from.
Watch every Reed Shepherd game. I want to see your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what? I lament that I missed my window. If I do it when I get back, is someone going to want to watch that video about Reed Shepherd?
I want to watch that video, and I want to watch, and I want you to make sure you watch every Reed Shepherd game in its entirety of Summer League.
And just watch his possessions?
No, the whole game, like you did with Michael Jordan in your defensive video.
I don't know if I can take. I don't know if I can afford that much time, because that takes that much.
Rockets were really fun Summer League team. Maybe you'll enjoy it. You never know.
Yeah. No, I've watched like maybe 50 or 60 of his clips so far.
Not good. Not good for you, huh? Not good.
No, there was just enough plays, especially that last game. I went through the last game again after we talked about Reed Shepherd. And I don't know, man. Like there must be a dozen clips where you're like, they're too fast or too long, they're too quick for him. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I know he had a couple of nice midi pull-ups and he had a nice pass or two, but like, but I'm gonna have to dig deeper into the other games to see why that was like that. But
okay, I want to see.
Remember that?
I remember him having a bad game on a back-to-back the second game, but I've saw too much good stuff at Summer League watching that I thought he was going to be really good. I thought him and Cam Whitmore were the most dynamic duo in Summer League. I think he's more athletic than people might think from a footwork and coordination standpoint. Not only that, vertical jump. Like the guy's a 40-inch vertical jump, and it shows. I think defensively is probably not his strong suit, but he mucks stuff up, and he was a 50% shooter in college. I think like he's really like I wasn't even as high as him as when I actually got to watch him play in Summer League. Like I wasn't the biggest Reed Shepherd guy coming out of Kentucky, but I really liked what I saw in Summer League.
Yeah, I actually went through some of his shooting in Kentucky because I wanted to see if there was anything different because of that. The rhythm I wasn't ecstatic about what I saw in Summer League, and I don't think he shot amazing right in the Summer League games.
So what'd you think about his shot in Kentucky in terms of like just
what I needed to do then was I needed to kind of grab it and then put it side by side, frame by frame to really see because it wasn't completely apparent, but I think the rhythm was a little bit better in Kentucky. And I wonder if like the extra foot or two behind that he's trying to gather more power in a different way is throwing him off for now. That could be just a thing that he'll ultimately get adjusted to. But yeah, I mean, listen, the feel is there. I could see Reed Shepherd. He does have a good feel for the game and knows how to play. I'm just telling you what I'm looking for in those games are there plays that indicate that the defenders are just overwhelmingly, overwhelming him. And there were quite a few of those, certainly in that last game. So
you're saying he's not big or athletic enough to make a high impact in the NBA.
All right. Or the counterpoint would be he needs 20 games and just thrown out there to the Wolves.
I mean, Trey Young looked a step slow in Summer League when I watched him that year. Okay. That's what I remember.
Okay. So and look how Trey Young turned out. So that might be the same thing with Reed. He might have a little bit of growing pains in the beginning. And then the question is, how long does that last? So we'll see.
Right.
Okay. But let's see. Is there anything else we have to talk about the USA game? I know we talked about Tatum not playing at all, and then Halliburton, again. I get it. You can only play 10 in a normal game, but when a blowout feels like, you could throw it out there. But we already discussed that. Right. Anybody else catch your eye in that game?
Derek White getting minutes, I guess, bothered people because Jason Tatum didn't get minutes, and people were saying around the NBA universe that what could Derek White do that Jason Tatum can't do? But I just think he's a better fit, and he's a role player that you need around other stars. I think he deserves minutes on this team, and I think it's a great fit.
Well, we'll see. Did they cut to Jason Tatum? I think once or twice on the bench, maybe, or you can kind of see him. Did we get a feel for his?
No, I didn't get a feel for that. I got a feel for Tyrese Halliburton being the first guy up, and super excited for everybody else, even though he wasn't playing. That's what I definitely saw.
I did see that too. Yeah, my DirecTV feed in my TV was the app was really wonky. And I was having so much trouble, I could barely jump back to see the play again. And the last 10 minutes, I was like kind of skipping through because there was a blowout. But I wanted to see the Tatum reaction on the bench. Everybody
has like different ways to motivate themselves. And I feel like Jason Tatum was always a player that felt like he didn't get the just due until he won a championship. So I'm sure from his point of view, it's like, damn, I won the championship and I'm still getting disrespected. That's how he's feeling, even though I know Kerr has to cut somebody's minutes.
Right. Absolutely. And, it wasn't like KD played a ton of minutes. He played 17. But I don't know. Again, he easily could have gotten them 6 minutes or 7 minutes in that game. But
KD didn't miss a shot till like the fourth quarter. It was crazy.
Yeah, he everywhere. 3, 2. Yeah. They ran a beautiful triangle offense set out of the sideline out of bounds play where the corner option is the ball goes to the corner, the passer cuts to the basket, and then the center sets the ball screen in the corner. And then as they swung it around, they skipped it to KD. KD's man switched on a cutter, And then the cutters man just, I don't know, wandered, didn't pick up the switch and left them wide open. That's my favorite part, to see guys as good as KD exist in an offense. And
who is that though?
Create a shot, 5 men together to do that. That's what makes me really excited. I'm never that excited about watching, a player who can just put his head down, go to the basket, people go flying like bowling pins, and then lay it in. That doesn't excite me.
Guys as good as KD, I don't know how many of them are out there, really, to be honest.
Right. I'm both sides of the ball for sure.
Yeah. What does this tell you? Like, if KD plays like this for the rest of this, and I mean, it's proven that he could do this, right? That this could continue with KD. He's one of the best Team USA players ever. His stats are amazing. And Steph Curry kind of looks mediocre. Like, does that give KD some more of the power when we were like going through the KD and Curry debate? Because obviously Curry has a better NBA resume, but I always thought KD was the better basketball player.
Why? Geez, it's weird because it's like you want to try and compare Curry and KD, like KD and LeBron. Okay, like we can compare that.
Why? Because of the size. I mean, when you're talking top 10 guys ever, I mean, size of position should be out the window, right? Like, who's the better player?
KD is going to get the short end of that stick, kind of like Kareem.
Yeah, I think situation does matter. I think, like, obviously Steph was an all-time great, but I also think he was in a perfect situation, and I think Clay and Dre and the Warrior style of play was like just great, and it like maximized everything Steph Curry was. I know Steph Curry fans might be mad at me because of this, but that's how I feel. Definitely a great player, but I think he was maximized.
Or he maximized the offense.
No, yeah, 100%. Like, without him, that doesn't work, obviously.
So, yeah, I mean,
they all help each other. It's like a well-cogged machine, right?
Just the impact that he put on the game and what he did to the league for that stretch at his prime, he puts him in the top 10 without.
Yeah. I think he's in the top 10. My thing is, like, I think KD's a better basketball player.
Right. Now, don't ask me who gets out of the top 10, because that list makes my mind,
right,
twist in a bunch. But yeah, but I worry about that. I worry that I don't even know why KD shouldn't, get overlooked.
I mean, I could see why people would say Steph over KD from their standpoint. They'd say, like, he has more rings. Like, he was, he won one when KD left. Like, I could see all of that. I don't know. I just never thought he was a better basketball player than KD, but I think both of them are top 10.
Well, you know what? As we wrap up the show, what switched as well? I kind of caught this little vibe on Twitter the other day. Kobe versus Duncan.
So wait, yeah, I mean, I've heard the Duncan thing, but I would say most people have Kobe over Duncan, right?
Well, that wasn't the case while they were still playing, in my memory. Right? My memory was Tim Duncan, like, he had the titles.
You know what it is? The diehard Kobe fans are way more fanatical than the diehard Tim Duncan fans, and sometimes those guys are really loud. That's why I always feel like Kobe had the notch on Tim, because those fans were very loud, the ones that are really fanatical about Kobe.
That too, and Tim Duncan was really quiet.
Yeah.
He was going to fade away into obscurity. No one's going to remember Tim Duncan.
Richard Jefferson somehow got him on a podcast, which was pretty funny.
Who did?
Richard Jefferson somehow got him on a pod recently, which was pretty funny.
How was it?
He said, Richard Jefferson said something like, "Tell me about your kids." And Tim Duncan was like, No, I won't. No.
Right. I got to ask Tim Duncan a question at the finals once.
Okay. How'd that go?
Basically, no, I'm not going to answer that. Or something.
So it was the same thing.
Yeah, he's pretty tight-lipped. But yeah, I do feel like, well, it's funny because, Duncan was so no nonsense, but like, he was a killer. And on both ends of the floor, he really was. And he wasn't flashy. He will not be remembered. I think he's going to go the way of the dodo bird.
Here's a good one. Who was better, him or Akeem Olajuwon?
Oh, Akeem was better than I would pick Akeem better over Duncan.
I agree.
For maybe even reasons, Akeem physically was better, quickness wise, athletically. So that was a thing that Duncan couldn't control. But, as far as winning, it's kind of like the thing with, when we talk about the Celtics and Bill Russell.
Olajuwon's peak was clearly better than Tim's peak. Like, those two championships, he was ridiculous. Those two championships.
Probably I could go with that. Yeah. But this Tim Duncan was just so good, and he was so good for so long.
Right.
And he was the guy, the thread. It's like and by the way, Phil Jackson gets the same thing when he talks. He had Scotty and Michael, and then he had Kobe and Shaq. like, Duncan for Pop could very well have, elevated Pop as well, higher than maybe where he would.
I think there's a little bit of that with all the coaches, right? Like situation matters, right? Yeah, I mean, Phil Jackson had Jordan and Kobe and Shaq. I mean, that definitely helped them, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've never had a team where I've had like someone like that, that's somebody like a dominant player like that. It would be nice. And, but the funny thing about something like that would be like, okay, one game, I call the right timeout. We had the right play. We stuck it together. We just barely hung on to a much better team and beat them. And I'm a genius. And then we lose the next game. And it's like, I don't know anything about the game anymore because of that. It's like, that's how that goes when you don't have those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I think we put in some good work already today. There's a really big audience. That's great to have everybody on a Sunday. Maybe we should probably do maybe Sundays more often.
Let's do it. Are you back by next Sunday?
I am not. I'm going Monday to Monday. Go figure.
So I guess maybe we do something during the week.
Yeah. So we'll do that. But then when we come back after that, we can we'll start doing some Sundays, I guess. I mean, usually it's a family time thing, but hey, we're packing and whatever. So here I am. Although I'm finished packing, I'm proud to say that my bag is packed.
Early. I'm an early packer myself.
Really? I'm generally not, but I think I did. But I'm getting some texts. So, all right. Well, listen, great show. Thank you guys out there for giving us some super chats. It really, really helps us. And thanks for being part of the show. It's great to talk basketball with everybody. And I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I'm monitoring the comments. I don't always put them on the screen. But Combo, what's happening for you this week? Anything exciting?
Combo's Court. I think Coach Nick will be on soon. So look out for that. That's what's happening.
You're right. Let's be around, especially if I'm on vacation. I could still be in the.
Well, look at you. Look at the residual effect you have still being on podcasts when you're out vacationing. Look at that.
But don't expect me to post any video clips of the Olympic Games because they already, took one down and gave me this.
Oh, I sent you a collab on IG. Speaking of that you didn't collab with me yet. But go ahead.
I'm so bad at IG. But it really is something that they need to stop doing. The Olympics have been blocking footage for a while now, and it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? The NBA gets it. EuroLeague gets it. The more we share, the more interest is driven from that, and it doesn't take away from your advertisers or whatever you think it does. It just makes everything better. So hopefully you're watching IOC and you at least give me permission to do it. I don't, hopefully maybe other people too, but I reached out. We'll see if they get back to me and let me do a little bit of it. Because again, there's some fascinating plays going on and really great stuff that would help people learn more about the international game. Like that's what it's about. And if I can't post it anywhere, then it's like, it's killing me. Oh, we have a Martin Jose. Thank you so much, Martin. And he wants to, just for correction in my last super chat, I meant selecting Caitlin Clark would be good business-wise, laugh aloud. Also, thoughts on Russ to the Nuggets. All right, well, let's quickly do that. We talked about this before. Did you feel as strongly as I did about Russ to the Nuggets?
I mean, I don't think you're the biggest fan of Russ, Coach Nick, right?
I'm not the biggest fan of Russ. I'm not. If there's a really big Russ fan, they're clearly going to be a bigger fan than I am. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough time in his career, I think, for him to help any team. But, when he went to the Lakers way back, I kind of said, like, he should play the Bruce Brown role, what Bruce Brown was doing with the Nets. And then, interestingly enough, Bruce Brown goes to the Nuggets, kind of plays that role, and they win a championship. Can Russ do some of what Bruce Brown did with the Nuggets? I mean, you don't seem to think so from your body language, but I think that's the hope, right? That's the hope.
Right. Funny. Wait. My body language would have been like, but I was communicating very clearly, my head shake, that he's not. The thing is, he doesn't move up the ball very well. He doesn't shoot the three very well. So I don't see how he fits in at all, really, with what Denver wants to do. So that's a big problem. And
energy off the bench.
Energy off the bench. Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, they need something, and they've lost, enough players now. I mean, the KCP loss is going to kill them. It's like we keep seeing this. We saw the Mavericks in 2010 when they didn't keep some of those players, and they could never get anywhere close to that championship level again. And then, thinking, oh, we can replace some of these role players, and it turns out you got to kind of keep some of those guys together. KCP though is a linchpin. And the fact that they couldn't keep him is going to kill him. And I don't know. They're going to have to figure something else out. I don't think Russ is going to replace that.
I think it's a great super chat, Martin. I just want to ask you a question in the comments, a question before we get out of here, Coach. Who has a better chance to win a championship, the Nuggets or the Knicks?
Man, if they had Hartenstein, if they could have kept him, I feel really good about the Knicks and the title chances. But let's see here. I don't know. You probably still got to go with the Nuggets. They have Murray. They have Jokic.
Okay.
They have MPJ. They have the pieces.
Okay.
They have Gordon. So they've already won it. You probably got to go with the Nuggets for right now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think the Knicks are going to be really good. I think a lot of it depends on, Julius Randle's the X factor. How does he fit in with the Nova Knicks?
Right. Well, they're not going to be really good. They are really good.
True. And they're going to be better, I think, this year with Mikal, right? I mean, I think so.
I am worried about what you said with Randle. I really worry about whatever role he's going to end up having is not going to work, because if they're going to start him and that might not work well, and I know if they're going to put him off the bench, then he might not handle that well. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. But I think Randle, he has to have some value. I would definitely see what they can get for him.
Okay. Okay.
Heck,
we'll see.
Oh no, they wouldn't want that. Never mind. I was going to say like maybe something like Wiggins for Randle, but I don't think the Warriors want Randle either.
I mean, Randle was all NBA.
Gosh, would that be interesting? Would Randle be interesting on the Warriors? And then they got Markkanen? No, they couldn't do that though, because Randle's contract is so.
If they had Randle and Markkanen, I mean, they'd be, just because of marketing alone, they're like, it makes them. And then you find a way to fit in Randle.
I mean, that won't work. I don't think contract wise. Anyway, all right. Well, listen.
All right, whatever.
Got to wrap this up. It's late on the Sunday, but anyway, thank you so much, Combo, for doing this, and we'll do it again on a Sunday. It seems like everyone's out here wanting to talk basketball. So great stuff. I'll be back as quickly as I can. Although if you need me, I'll probably be on X. Screwing around during my break. We'll be back after a week from tomorrow, or after that, whatever that is that week.
All right.
All right. Don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?